The end for Big in Japan, but only the beginning for dozens of other would-be performers who shared an incestuous social scene and were determined to put a band together, hopefully before their mates did.
I mean, it was always my intention to sing, but I didn't know how you went about getting a band or anything. And by going to Eric's week in, week out, people were forming bands around me, and bands like the Spitfire Boys or even Big in Japan. And I thought, well, if they can do it, you know, they're all right, but they're not great, you know.
Yeah, there was a lot of bands who didn't actually play, or who were just like for the day, you know, who lived for the day, who had a name for the day, and the next day there was someone else.
It was important in that for the first time in my life, it was like, yeah, I can do this, you know. All that dreaming of doing stuff, people want me to be in a group with them, you know, so it was a good kind of confidence boost, especially for me because I was so shy and stuff, you know. And then from that, there was another thing. We actually did play twice or once with me and this group called UH ? Me and a bloke called Dave Pickett. We were more interested in getting T-shirts made, but the tiniest writing we could get, just this thing, on. And then I kind of bowed out of that one.
I think the Nova Mob was a T-shirt. The band didn't really exist. It was only afterwards we thought, let's make it into a group. And we did one rehearsal. I remember doing one rehearsal.
In May 1977, 18-year-old Pete Wylie met 18-year-old student teacher Julian Cope on the dance floor in Eric's, a meeting which was to lead to the formation of another nearly band, the Crucial Three.
I'd been waiting to see the Clash, and I'd fought my way to the front. And I was at the front, except next to me at the front was this dickhead in a boiler suit dancing really, but this kind of rocking and back and forth dance. And he kept rocking back into me. And in his book, he says that he turned around and gave me a manic punk stare and I backed off. And I say that I said, if you don't stop doing that, I'm going to chin you. And he says, oh, don't do that. Why don't we form a band, put our anger into guitars?
It was Pete's idea to call this group Arthur Hostile and the Crucial Three. And we kind of formed this band that never did anything. We had one rehearsal at my mum's house with Julian playing this really horrible bass line and me just mumbling over it and Pete kind of playing guitar and the drummer Steve Spence drumming on my mum's kitchen chair.
We had a song called The Salamine Shuffle, the chorus of which Mac wrote, and it said, when I have hives I use calamine. When I want to dance, I do the Salamine Shuffle. Pop classic, Mac.
From that, it became this mythical thing, the Crucial Three, which I always tried to deny ever existed, you know.
But Copey turned up with all kind of, I can't remember, something like, you know, life is a factory sprayed on his bass, and he changed his name to Juvenile. And these were like the dodgy fag end of London punk ideas, you know, like Degenerate and Eater. It was never cool, you know. So me and Matt kind of went like this, and then there was the final straw was Julian brought in this song he'd written, and it was Rent-a-Punk kind of thrash anthem, and there was only one line I can remember which went, and the apathy that's spreading through our country's furthest shores. And it was like, when he did it, me and McCulloch both knew that this was over, you know.
Eric's owner, Roger Eagle, easily persuaded Julian Cope and Pete Wylie to team up with the glamorous punk Pete Burns in a lineup called The Mystery Girls, who made it on stage. Once.
Roger Eagle just decided that I should be in a group because, you know, I dressed up freaky. And he kind of put a group together, which included Julian Cope and Pete Wylie. I can't really remember who else, so I can, but I'm not going to say. And I fronted it for one gig with Sham 69, and my life just completely changed. I got in free, got drinks free.
Burns was Burns with his makeup and his hair. Cope was in an overcoat, probably playing his bass. I had my mum's white Mac with plastic gold buttons, white blouse with kind of blue flowers, a nylon blouse, red satin kecks, and a toilet seat that I used to wear.
We split up after that one gig because Pete Wylie wanted to wear a toilet seat on his head.